Dame, now that we've reached the All-Star break, can you just assess the first half of the season, the ups and the downs, how you're feeling about where you guys are at this point?
I think we're in a great spot. Somebody said that, this is the best 35-game start in the last 5 years or something like that. So I think that alone is something that we should be proud of, especially given the circumstances. So when CJ and Nurk went down, we just said, let's, not feel bad for ourselves. Like I've been saying this whole time, let's not make excuses. Let's show up and let's get the job done. Let's come together, let's lean on each other and count on each other and find a way to get it done. And we did that, 21-14 going into the break. I don't think anybody will complain about it. I look back at some games and I'm thinking to myself, 23-12, 24-11 was possible in my mind, but, I'm always ambitious when it comes to that type of stuff. But I think we had a really, really solid first half of the season, and now we just got to make sure that even when we get back to closer to full strength with CJ and Nurk, that we don't welcome them back and think that it's going to get easy all of a sudden. We got to continue to be focused like we have been, trust each other, and continue to have the same energy and focus that we've had. And I think if we continue to do that, we'll be an even better team in the second half.
Next question is coming from Aaron Ventress with the Oregonian.
Clearly, getting back CJ and Nurk is going to be huge, but also there's going to be an adjustment, I imagine, because you're going to be adding two big-time players. You're going to eat up probably 65, 60 to 70 minutes per game. How do you think the rest of the team is going to adjust to inserting them back in there, especially when a lot of guys have had much bigger roles the last couple months?
I think it'll be an adjustment, obviously. You take an all-star level guy like CJ and, then you throw Nurk in there, who's a huge part of what we do. And it's gonna be different for guys. But I think because of the way it's been, guys are just much more comfortable on the floor, period, and confident on the floor, period. So even though the minutes might come down, they might play shorter stretches, guys will still be on the floor. And I think because of the role that we have asked of guys over this period of time, I think guys will be even stronger in the roles that they may be in when CJ and Nurk comes back. So I think it'll be a positive thing for us, and it also gives us the opportunity to say, okay, GT's having a huge night, let's finish the game with him, or Melo's having a huge night, let's finish the game with him, or Rocco, or Nas, or Ant, whatever the case may be. Guys have shown that they can come up big and that they can really contribute, and that makes us a stronger team. And I think also it'll be a situation where guys have to understand, like, CJ and Nurk is back, and this is what it is. We knew that when they got hurt that they were going to come back. So that's part of being professional and understanding the way professional sports work, which I don't think we'll have an issue with.
Thanks.
Next question is coming from Jamie Hudson with NBC Sports Northwest.
Dame, going back to tonight's game and what Ennis was able to give you guys, how do you describe how impactful he was tonight and how consistent he's been throughout this first half?
When we brought him back, I don't think he planned on having to play as many minutes as he's played and bang down there in the paint and have to get 20 rebounds like tonight and 15 and 17 rebounds consistently. But, he's taking that challenge. Teams have tried to put him in pick and rolls defensively and get him involved in a lot of actions, and he's taking the challenge. He's not shying away from it. He's embracing it. And I think that speaks the loudest to our team, is how he's just, whatever we ask him to do, whatever we need of him, he's going out there and giving us his best effort, and he cares. But the kind of effort that we've gotten from him consistently, night after night after night, has been a huge reason for our success in the first half.
Next questions come from Jason Quick, The Athletic.
Dame, the first half schedule has been so grueling, and you look at the second half schedule, and I think it looks even worse. Has that changed your stance at all on load management and maybe taking some time off or playing less?
I think it's changed in in a small way, I would say. And that's just like, okay, we know it won't be, fans really. So it's really not a home court, it's whether you sleeping in your own bed or not. So I think we just got to focus on being a top 6 seed, so we're not in a play-in situation. And once we are firm in that top 6, I think we should play that game of like, what team do we want to be matched up against when we get to the playoffs? And I think in that situation, I'll, if it's a back-to-back-to-back or something like that, I'll be smart. After the game tonight, CJ came up to me and was like, great first half, but in the second half, don't make me have to, come to your house and tell you you're not playing tonight, because like we got to be smart. And I think in the past, when I feel like I can play, I want to play. I don't want to leave the team out there to dry or not be out there, because my job is to be out there and I'm healthy. But I think that's, where we can be better at. Sometimes just doing what might be better for us in the long run and not working so hard to get in a certain spot in the playoffs. And then when we get there, we pretty much running out of gas, like we did in the Western Conference Finals run. It was like, once we got to the Western Conference Finals, I had never felt that fatigue, game after game. So we got to be, I think we got to make sure that, first of all, we're not, one of the teams in that play-in, with 7 and 8. And then we gotta play that game. What teams do we want to try to position ourselves to be matched up against, and what are those windows where I can maybe take a night or take a game, so it makes more sense for us in the long run.
That's a great motivator for the second half.
Yeah.
Next question is coming from AJ McCord with Coin.
Damian, you mentioned that CJ was the one that pulled you aside to say, hey, don't make me come to your house and tell you can't play tonight. What is it about CJ's voice, both on the court and in your personal life, that he's the one that you'll maybe listen to a little bit harder, or he's the one that he can say stuff like that too, and you take it into account a little bit more?
I mean, first of all, that's like really one of my closest friends, we're us being in the same backcourt or on the same team aside, I see random clips on Instagram and I send it to CJ, or, we just have a genuine friendship aside from being in the backcourt together. So I'm gonna naturally think of his opinion and what he says to me, on a different level. And we had that agreement since my 4th year in his 3rd year, when we was starting the backcourt together, that, I'm gonna hear you out. And if you yell at me, I'm gonna hear you out. If you cuss me out, I'm gonna hear you out. If you demand something of me, I'm gonna hear you out. And we agreed that we would have that type of acceptance, I guess, in our interactions and what the other had to say. And we haven't, I haven't gone back on it, and neither has he. There's been times where he like, D, shoot the ball. Like, stop doing this, stop doing that. And I'd be like, all right. Or he'll yell at me from the bench, or I'll yell at him, like, see, like in transition, you got to see me on the opposite side. And he'd be like, all right, I got you. And it's a situation like that. Tonight he was just like, don't make me, like, we talking about this now, but I know how you are. When the moment comes, you're going to be like, I'm playing. Like, earlier this season with the Clippers, we was down like 18 at the end of the 3rd quarter. And I'm telling coach with like 10 seconds left in the 3rd quarter, like, leave me in the game to start the 4th quarter. And the game was pretty much over. It seemed like, they was dominating us. And the end of the quarter come, and I was basically sitting there outside the huddle arguing with the coaches, like, to leave me in the game. And CJ walked up and he was just like, D, we talked about this. Sit down. Like, sit down. And I was just like, at first I was fighting it. But when he came over there and was like, it's over. Like, we got another game tomorrow. We had to go to Golden State. He was like, we still got 2 more games on this trip. Sit down. And I was like, all right, and we didn't play the 4th quarter. But it's that type of relationship, when he speaks, I hear him out, and when I speak, he hears me out.
So the other thing, going into All-Star Weekend, Ant hasn't really told us if he's going to use you or not in his dunk contest, but he did say that he approached you about it and you were willing to do it as long as it's not too crazy. So what is too crazy to be used as a teammate in the dunk contest?
I just told him, like, don't try to jump over me because I'm 6'2". Like, that ain't go. That's not gonna do nothing for you. Like, I was just like, man, be creative, like use this as an opportunity for you to like elevate yourself. People should know who he is. He's a young, super talented player. I told him like what it means for players and that play in Portland to be able to get onto these type of platforms. It don't happen often. I remember when I came to Portland, it was like LA was going to the All-Star game, but other than that, it was like people was excited, like, oh, you're going to the rookie sophomore game, you're doing skills. And it was like, I mean, people should be doing this all the time, but we don't get players on these stages, for our fans to be excited over and for us to like be seen, for just something like our uniform to be seen on that stage. And especially for him, a young rising star in the league, a guy with a lot of talent and a bright future. I just told him, like, make this about you. Go out there and do like Zach LaVine did when he was in Minnesota and he kind of was, coming off the bench. And, that's how people started to look at him like, okay, we know who this guy is. And then obviously he went on to put it together on the floor, and now he's an all-star level player. But like, go make a name for yourself because people watch the dunk contest and they hold on to that stuff,
Final questions coming from Casey Holdall with Trailblazers.com.
Damian, in kind of in that same vein, what is your schedule like for All-Star Weekend? Are you leaving tomorrow? Do you leave Saturday? Are you taking your family? Are you doing a vacation afterwards? What's kind of your schedule for the next week?
I'm gonna go Saturday, and I'm just gonna do the game on Sunday, and I'm going home. I'm coming back here. I was gonna do the 3-point shootout, but I got a lot of nagging stuff going on. So I don't think doing the 3-point shootout would have like hurt me even more. But I just want to keep it simple. I'm going by myself. I'm not taking my family or nobody with me. I just want to go play the game, get it over with, and get back. I didn't really have no true desire to, be taking pictures and having to wait and all that stuff for the events and all that. I just want to go do the game, and after the game, go home. So that's what I'm going to do.